Hello, friends. The point system for the units has led to a friendly competition among the operators of interceptor drones from the regiments and battalions of unmanned systems to see who is the most effective at taking apart Ivan's toys. I don't know which unit will get the most points, but I do know that Ukraine wins with every vulture shot down. In Crimea, the invaders have started to camouflage their tanker trucks with covers that simulate fake loads of wooden planks. The idea is simple. If the drones think the truck is only carrying wooden planks, obviously they won't attack it. The problem with this clever trick was that a Russian truck driver made a video commenting on and mocking the deception, and he couldn't think of anything better than uploading it to social media, which alerted the Mosquito operators. Of course, this lack of discretion by the Russian truck driver was not appreciated at all by the authorities, who after a quick investigation sent a disciplinary committee from the Z police to find the big mouth. Then they proceeded to politely explain his mistake to him, which he later had to explain on television to prevent other pranksters from sharing their observations with the Ukrainians. You know what they say? When your trucks need disguises, it's likely that the story about your logistics lines is pretty real. This is important. President Zelensky has announced a historic military reform with a record increase in salaries for the infantry fighting on the front lines, service contracts, and he has announced it will be an economic project, the project and the economy.
Para el reclutamiento de más voluntarios extranjeros.
These reforms were announced on June 12 and address the serious shortage of personnel, increase combat effectiveness, and provide much-needed clarity and fairness to the soldiers who have sacrificed so much in 4 years of the War of Independence. Under the new system, frontline infantry soldiers will receive an average monthly compensation of $7,000. This is a sharp rise from previous levels of about $3,300. The structure combines a minimum base salary of $670 for rear positions, up from the previous $442, with daily combat bonuses that are directly linked to the risk and intensity of the missions. These include payments for time spent in forward positions, assault operations, search and destroy missions. The logic is to reward more those who bear the greatest burden in the highest risk combat, creating appropriate financial incentives to retain them in service and to increase their operational performance. Combat unit commanders will also see their pay significantly increase to preserve experienced officers' leadership at the front. Another fundamental pillar of the reform is that contracts for combat roles will be fixed term, ranging from 10 to 14 months for infantry and 24 months for other combat positions and support services. Soldiers with an active contract can take advantage of these agreements, and their previous service will be fully recognized. It also offers a guaranteed minimum rest period of 6 months, which can be extended if possible. This addresses one of the most bitter complaints among defenders, since they had to keep fighting without a clear date for rotation or discharge from the Army. It is also planned that personnel who have been fighting since 2022 will begin to be discharged from service in phases before the end of 2026. Additionally, the campaign to recruit foreign volunteers will be expanded to strengthen frontline units and to support Ukrainian units. To achieve this, new channels and significantly expanded recruitment opportunities will be created. The goal is for volunteers to fill between 30 and 50% of infantry positions, for which the existing International Legion will be strengthened and the selection, integration, and support system will be improved. Years of war have reduced motivation, partly because troops on the front lines can't be rotated. The reforms aim to transform the force into an army of professional volunteers with competitive pay, designed to be sustainable in the long term, which would extend beyond an eventual ceasefire. By linking pay directly to the intensity of combat and offering structured service conditions, Ukraine is trying to improve the retention of experienced fighters, attract new national and international talent, and increase the overall effectiveness of combat units. The government says it can fund these increases due to money from international assistance. On the Black Sea front, the defenders have begun deploying the Barracuda unmanned surface vehicle in the waters adjacent to the Kinburn Isthmus in Mykolaiv Oblast. Developed and operated by the 40th Coastal Defense Brigade of the 30th Marine Corps, the system has moved from operating only on the Dnipro River to conducting operations in open, littoral waters. The Barracuda is a modular naval drone that incorporates artificial intelligence elements for greater autonomy in navigation and for automatic response to threats. Initially designed for short-range missions between the Dnipro Islands, such as naval mine installations, grenade launching, and logistical support, the platform has proven to be adaptable to more complex coastal environments. In recent operations near the Kinburn Isthmus, the Barracuda operates as a mobile launch platform for attack mosquitoes and heavy bombers, which carry out reconnaissance and attacks against Russian positions, observation posts, and logistical infrastructure. The modular design allows for rapid reconfiguration, with variants armed with thermobaric rocket systems in addition to its mosquito payload, making the Barracuda a versatile vector for littoral attacks. The Z forces targeted by the 40th Brigade are on the Kinburn Isthmus. Kinburn, which is located at the mouth of the Dnipro estuary, serves as an outpost for the invaders, who use it to launch artillery fire against Ukrainian positions in Kyiv. However, it is the Russian position farthest from their logistical routes, which makes it highly unpleasant and vulnerable to Ukrainian attacks. In fact, at the beginning of June, sources from the resistance in the area reported that the 337th Russian Airborne Regiment operating in the area reported the suspension of deliveries of ammunition, fuel, and food. So some of its units are said to have withdrawn from the area to more protected sectors within the isthmus. In the latest act of cultural barbarism perpetrated by Russian forces, a massive combined missile and drone attack on Kyiv, which took place on the night of June 15th, directly hit the historic Kyiv Monastery, causing a serious fire in the temple and the roof of the cathedral of the Dormition. The Kyiv Cave Monastery, founded in 1051 and inscribed on the UNESCO World Heritage List, it is one of the most important places on the Kinburn Isthmus. This spiritual cradle of the Ukrainian state and of the strength that survived the Mongol hordes, the Nazi occupation, and Soviet destruction, only to be attacked again by Russia in 2026. Ukrainian authorities confirmed that the monastery suffered severe damage in what they describe as a direct attack. Firefighters worked throughout the night to fight the fire amid ongoing attacks. The attack on Kyiv killed at least 4 civilians and injured another 23. In addition, it left approximately 140,000 residents without electricity. Russia's war has already damaged or destroyed more than 1,400 Ukrainian cultural sites. The attack on the Monastery of the Caves once again exposes the Kremlin's deliberate campaign to erase Ukraine's spiritual and national identity under the false pretext of defending Christian values. If you want to see additional content about the war in Ukraine, I invite you to visit our 2 new channels where we present information about the war in a different format. Be sure to check them out. Remember to visit our Patreon, where for just $1, you'll have access to a large number of uncensored videos and documentaries. Don't forget to leave a like